Hey guys, Liana here, playing Mortal Kombat, well, checking out Mortal Kombat. I promised you guys a diversity video, and I'm going to deliver today. But first, since I did the one yesterday about the women of Mortal Kombat, I unlocked Mileena's concept art, and there's some interesting things in it regarding the redesign of her, and I'm gonna flip through it. As you can see, this design, she's got significantly curvier proportions, and this is concept art. Here too, there's definitely more hips in Mileena's original design. I mean, that's a badonk right there. It's interesting because the face pretty much stayed the way it always had. She always had like a mouth now, as opposed to previous games where it was all teeth, like Baraka. But, you know, that's her finished version. They have noticeably slimmed down her more womanly attributes. So that's very interesting. That, you see there, she's got a fuller bum. And, I mean, heels, which is silly, but that's a completely different issue. You know, these concept pieces are definitely more feminine than what they ended up going with. And I think that there are reasons, but it certainly was, it was a process. So for those of you that matters to, there you are, take from that what you will. What I wanted to talk about today was the characters, the incredible diversity Mortal Kombat has, and Mortal Kombat has always had. And I am working on a more structured article about this, so you guys are helping me sort of work my thoughts out. Because Mortal Kombat is frequently criticized for the violence and the blood and all that stuff. It doesn't get a lot of credit for its multi-racial, multi-ethnic, diverse cast. And it's been, I mean, Jax has been a character since the beginning, right? They've always had an Asian character, more than one Asian character, and you know, non-white American characters from the beginning. And I mean, you got Kano. I hate Kano, but he's Australian. I mean, you know, just because someone's a jerk doesn't mean they're not a diverse character. And there's the cool thing about Mortal Kombat is they don't stop at just the black guy, the white guy, the Asian guy, the Latin American guy. They go for mixed race characters. They differentiate between, you know, Chinese characters and Japanese characters and Thai characters. Where's Takeda? See, he's mixed race, and he's super mixed race, and that's interesting. And you'll notice that, you know, the facial construction on Takeda is different than Sub-Zero or Scorpion, or, you know, Liu Kang Lao has a different facial construction, but they've kept the facial construction in the family similar. So they really were very careful to not be generic in their diversity. And I think that's very cool. And this has been something that Mortal Kombat has been very, very good at all along. They don't do what a lot of, you know, techno fantasy series do, which is, we're going to substitute actual people of color for a green guy, and that's going to be a catch-all racial character. Because you make somebody an alien, I mean, Goro's not human, so you could say he's, you know, the other, but, you know, they can do whatever they want with him. It's a very different challenge creating, you know, an alien, or in this case, you know, an outworld character, than it is trying to get somebody like Jackie Briggs, who exists in the real world and has to have an element of realism to her. I mean, Farah's dark-skinned here, but does she have anything to do with any group in our world? No. She's not an Earthrealm character. So, you know, The other thing I like is that there's diversity of body types. You'll notice that Cassie and Devora are different body type wise, and it's not just they made one person's boobs bigger. This is sort of a bad example because they're similar in the hip, but the body type, and this is gonna be more and more with motion capture. But the proportions on the various characters are very different. I mean, Kano is not built the same way as Johnny Cage is not built the same way as Jax, even though they're all sort of beefier characters. And, obviously Kenshi is not built the same way as these guys either. And these are the sorts of things that it's, in one way for me, it's cool no one notices. But on the other hand, if games don't get credit when they bother to do this sort of stuff, then companies aren't going to bother. If you're damned if you do or damned if you don't, people don't, because it's too much work. And the cool thing about the diversity of Mortal Kombat is I think that it doesn't come from them wanting to be politically correct per se. Although I think the perception of the gaming industry is that is increasingly a selling point. But I mean, you're not going to win any social justice points with a cowboy in your game. But I think they're like fighting games. They base it on game balance and what they need a character to do. And then they sort of build up the character from there, right? I think it's Kunjin's character sheet, like their concept art, if you go in and you see they wanted an archer character. All right, we start with an archer. Where do we go from there? And the story mode makes it more important that all the characters make sense and they all have different motivations and all this stuff. But I personally think this game does a very good job not only showing diversity, but there's also three, this is a generalization, three general factions in that it's Outworld, Earthrealm, and Netherrealm, but then, you have subdivisions between those because you've got Milena's faction and Kotal Khan's faction, and then you've got, the ninja guys, the clans that are, sort of warring, and then you've got the special forces. They have factions, but then they have universes and all this stuff. There's a lot of allegiances, and so they've got a diversity of culture that is relevant to the game, and I think that's pretty cool. That they didn't just stop it at the physical stuff. I'll show you guys some gameplay because looking at a screen is boring. This is just a very, very hard game to talk and play. So, oops, I don't want story towers. I apologize if I die because this is a very difficult game to talk while you're playing. But, it's, I think this is important stuff to talk about. Oh, important, people tune out when you say important. As important as video games get, right? Okay, are we happier there? I think it's important not to overthink games too much, but at the same time, I think that, okay, that was good. That was good. Now I have motivation to kick Takeda's ass, because Jax is an overprotective daddy. And that's the thing, like, Jax, he's been with this series so long, and you guys are discovering I am terrible at blocking. But Jax has been with this series so long that he's not just, the black guy. And that limits non-white characters a lot, that they have to be, representations of their race and not characters in their own right with foibles and all that stuff. Jax has been around so long that he's his own dude, right? He's such a staple of the Mortal Kombat franchise that it's, you're not gonna say that Jax is a cardboard representation. He's freaking Jax, man. And that gives the franchise the ability to bring in other people. Let's see if I can do this. I never remember it. Front, back, down, triangle. Okay. Front, back, down, triangle. There we go. And this makes me laugh every time, even though it's really... Look away now if you're squeamish. Yeah.
Wins fatality.
And that's the way... Look at the bubbles. Look at the bubbles. The bubbles make this fatality. I'm sorry. That's awesome. Okay? The bubbles. The smoke and the bubbles. That's disgusting. And see, they don't step away from it being Mortal Kombat just because they want to be more inclusive. You're inclusive in a brutal fighting game, and a game shouldn't have to step away from its inherent character. How's this gonna work?
You're the least of my worries.
See, this is...
Mom would kill us both if she knew.
These are sort of... That was funny. These are sort of moments of dissonance in this franchise. I wish they'd... I wish they'd not include characters of the same family in a... Or, you know what? I wouldn't disclude characters of the same family in tournament mode, but ow, because that's pretty good. Ow. But I'd love to see them bring back the friendships and things like that, that the fatality automatically becomes a friendship or something like that, or the babality when, you know, we're in this mode. I mean, I think you're not supposed to sort of buy that there's any actual... This is not story mode, this is tower mode, so you sort of turn off your brain a little bit. But this part is kind of strange that, you know, a guy would be brutally beating the shit out of his own daughter. Brutally beating the shit out of your daughter's boyfriend, I accept, right? But your daughter, Jax loves his daughter. He wouldn't beat her up. I think she'd beat him up. Okay, what was that? I always forget. We're gonna do the other one, show you guys the other one. Down, back, forward, forward, okay. There we go. Like, why would he do this? This makes no sense. This is Ike Turner territory right here. Like, this is dumb. And yeah, they're probably going to have to fix this for future games because it is disturbing. But that's the nice thing is that they do fix things like this. You know, they recognize they had a bit of a, you know, the sweet spot about Mortal Kombat, the thing about Mortal Kombat is it should be stupid, but it shouldn't be so stupid that it kicks you out of the game, if that makes any sense. And this is just, I think people murdering their own daughters, like we just saw there, is sort of a... They're trying to find a balance from what the game series has traditionally been and the, you know, the benefits of having that super strong story mode that everybody loves. Well, some people don't love the quick time events. I was really surprised when I did the Monday video that some people responded very, very strongly to the QuickTime events, and that's weird because you can just sit there and watch the cutscene if you want. I thought that the QuickTime events were fairly well done, personally, just because if you actually watch them, the O button coordinates to a you know, attack from the right side. See, this is the thing about talking and playing, is they screw things up. But, you know, and if you're coming from the top, it's going to be the triangle. Yes, these are PlayStation things. It's A, B, X, Y for other things. But, you know, it's, oh, See, I never remember. These moves do not stay in my head. Which ones do we want to... I'm not even going to attempt the brutality, because... Oh, what's this? Faction kills. Hold R2 and forward, forward. Okay, let's try that. Forward, forward. Nope, that didn't work. And these are the things I find a little confusing, because these new fatalities don't work so well. So we'll just do the simple one before he falls down. There we go. So... That's a little bit about. I mean, he's killing his friend here, man, which really makes no sense. So that's sort of the odd dichotomy in, you know, Mortal Kombat story and sort of its diversity angle and all that stuff. And there's still stuff that needs to be cleaned up, kind of, obviously, because there are things in the tower mode that make no sense if you play the story. And the cool thing about the story is you get invested in these characters. So I think maybe, you know, them fighting, it's a martial arts thing. They fight. But killing your friends and killing your family...
What do you want, freak?
I think they misjudge tolerance for that. So they're almost a victim of their own success in that regard. And I hate Ermac. I know he's a fan favorite. And I know people freaking love Ermac. I hate Ermac with a passion, just because he sucks to fight. He's hard because he's fast and he zips all over the place if you let him. But that's a little bit. That's me working on my thoughts on the diversity of Mortal Kombat issue. And like I said, I don't think it's... Yikes. I see him zipping all over the place? God damn it, I hate that. Pardon to people more religious for me for that GD. I try to watch that out of respect for some friends that it bothers, but when I play fighting games, I am not responsible for what comes out of my mouth. Oh, Ermac. Oh, Ermac. I am so going to grab you and rip off the top of your head when this is over. Watch me miss the fatality now, after all that swearing. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Forward, back, down, triangle. Alright. Forward, back, down, triangle. Yes! Yes! Take that, Ermac! I have an irrational hatred of Ermac and Quan Chi. That's my Mortal Kombat confession. But I find this funny, because he basically turns him into an R2-D2 trash can. To me, but I love the bubbles. And what's neat is the characters actually have different teeth. They spent the time to actually give characters different teeth. Goro is missing teeth. It's pretty cool. So, I'm gonna wrap up here because now I'm just playing for you guys. But thanks for helping me work out my thoughts. Thanks for making me realize that there's some silliness in this game. But I love Mortal Kombat, and I will always love Mortal Kombat, and just because it's fun.
Soften me up.
That's what my fists are for.
Round
Oh snap!
fight.